Hello everybody, this is Toys R Us, and for this special figure showcase and review we're going to be looking at the 1987 Autobot Headmaster Brainstorm figure. So what we're going to do with this video, we're going to have a detailed look at him in both of his modes, help you decide how you want to display him. We're going to have a look at the accessories and his headmaster that comes with him to help you know if yours is complete. We're going to have a detailed look at the headmaster gimmick and how it works, not just with his I suppose specifically required head, but also with some Japanese exclusives, some Horicons, and indeed some of the junior headmasters, because all of these work, and indeed it makes it so much fun. We can then see how he's changed down the generations toy line and see other versions of him. And as I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging, we can have a look at the artwork and beautiful battle scenes on the back of that. So as I start to pop these away, I'd like to remind anybody who's not subscribed to this channel, if you'd like to hit that subscribe button for me now, please, because it really will help me out. Right, now this figure has got a special place in my heart, because I was lucky enough, not this particular one in hand, unfortunately. I did sell that when I was younger, but I literally, as I say, owned one of these as a child, and I absolutely loved it. And again, it's a simple figure. It is, as I say, 1987, so you have got more plastic. I don't think you've actually got any metal, I was going to say, than metal, but I just liked them. I think the gimmick on them was brilliant, and they just looked so much fun. Now what I've got here, to be fair, this one is not the best copy, but the main reason for that is for this particular video, so I can point out things that you need to be aware of. So you need to be aware of, I don't know if you saw that there, this part is really loose on the head. So of course, if you're trying to display in robot mode, if it comes down, it's not a detrimental problem, but it's just something to be aware of. You can see that stickers have started to fade all on there, and indeed there's a bit of corrosion starting to creep in onto the screws and indeed the joints. Now ironically enough, this one has got really solid wings there at the sides, which is something else that you do need to be aware of. And the reason for that is when he's in alternate mode, as you'll see, sometimes they just can't support their own weight and they do fall down, so that does hinder the alternate mode massively. We'll come back to that in a second. So the accessories that come with him is his headmaster pilot Arcana, which of course is a Nebulon if you're following Hasbro, but we won't go into all the details with that. These figures were brilliant. The main problems with this though was, funnily enough, corrosion there, and the arms could quite easily snap off. So for obvious reasons, I'm not going to move them. You would just literally fold this up, as you can see, and then this would pop into his head cavity there, and you'd get the reading. Now this is what I really enjoyed when I was a child, and it's such a shame that with the newer figures they didn't do this at all. So yes, you could, obviously this is, I suppose, his most recent. Obviously you could take off the head, which funnily enough, again, look at the size difference, is tiny. It really is tiny, but there was no way to get any readings. Like when you pop this in, there's your readings. And the best thing about the large headmasters was that they all had different readings. What I mean by that is these barrels here, you can see there's 3 independent barrels. So when you popped in these, this is of course Snapdragon, that's Crunk, you can see it gives you a completely different reading. You can then use, again, any headmaster, Autobot, Decepticon, standard release, Takara, Japanese exclusive, it would fit in, and it would just again give you different readings, made it a bit more playability, give it a bit more fun. You could even stick, this one's Horribles, and this will go in as well. See, it doesn't look the greatest, it looks a bit odd, but you can see that it still gives you a reading. Whereas with these newer figures, although they look good, they're more articulate, and even on this particular size one, you know, you don't get this chest fold down and be able to give you the readings. So if you're just wondering which ones these are, this is the Thrilling 30 Voyager class, and this one's had a couple of releases, to be fair. It originally came out I'm thinking it was Titan's Return in 2016, but they've been reissued as the Walmart exclusives as well. So yes, they've got loads more articulation, but these just feel flimsier. And they're okay, but I really, maybe it's because I'm biased, maybe it's because of nostalgia, I just prefer the original. Now the only problem with the original, I'm going to apologize straight away, is for the big problem is no transformation. And people who own this figure are going to be going, yes, we know exactly why. And people who don't, I'm going to just give you a little bit of an insight why. So again, so people who have got this figure are probably going to start screaming, don't do it, don't do it. And people who haven't got a clue, you're going to again see why. Now it's all about these particular ratchets here. Now, I'm sure you can work out the transformation process, being the legs fold underneath, the arms fold back, and you tuck the hands away. Now, these ratchets here are absolutely notorious. So anybody who owns one of these or owned one of these as a kid, you just knew about these ratchets in the legs. So I'm only going to do it one click, and I don't really want to do that, but for the purpose of the video, I feel like I've got to, so you understand why I'm doing it. This is the scariest thing ever. So I'm going to hold it tight on there. Can you hear that clicking? It's literally that tight. So not just the knee, when you want to move the whole leg, it makes this awful sound like that. That is how you move the legs backwards and forwards, and that's not just on that copy. So I'm going to do it for the very last time, even on this much mintier, newer version. If you bring it forward, it's this horrible, no, do you know what, I'm not even going to do it. It's a horrible snap and click backwards. So the transformation process is terrifying, and it might be the reason why there's not many of these, because the legs perhaps don't last too long. Now, the accessories, you can see, to be honest, you can probably get away with missing the guns and obviously missing the head when just displaying in alternate mode, but obviously in robot mode, missing the guns, yeah, you can get away with, but missing the head, 100% no. So that is, of course, another reason why the heads command such a high price on the secondary market. Let me just pop his blasters back into his hands. And to be fair, these aren't cheap either, the guns, but again, if you want, you could get away with him looking just like that, and you'd be all right. He also fits, as you can see, as a pilot sitting there, so you could stick him in his chest there as well if you wanted to, and he would fit absolutely fine. These are just a lovely little bit of finishing touch, just exactly that, just make it look so much better. Right, there is the alternate mode. It is, of course, like a Cybertronian jet fighter, or jet, whatever you want to call it. It looks really nice. The instructions, this is the Canadian version. I'm going to show you the Canadian box in a second. So the English version was exactly the same, just obviously in English, and the Japanese ones, unfortunately, I don't have. Right, before I show you some of the packaging, let's give you an idea of his size. So if you only collected the first early runs, there he is compared to Optimus. And I'm sure I've got, yeah, there's Bumblebee, so he's much bigger than them. So that's some G1 figures. If you collect newer figures, to give you an idea, what have we got? I've got, there she is, I've got Strong Arm, and I've got a drag strip here for alternate mode. So quite a big figure, you know, you were getting quite a bit of figure with these older ones, with regards to some newer ones or some third parties. So much bigger, of course, than your Legends scale, your tiny original Minibot. That's a Takara, world's smallest transformer, so much bigger than them. And then I've already done the deluxe with regards to that. I'll bring some other robots in now for you, again, just for some ideas. In height, way taller than any of the third-party Legend scales, so you could use these. And there's a recent core class as well. Right, let's have a quick look at, in fact, funnily enough, one last one, because I've seen that it's in well, reach, I can grab it basically. There's Masterpiece Trailbreaker, and he's bigger than that, which is great as well. Right, let's have a look at some of the packaging then, because I'm lucky enough to have a couple of different types of packaging to show you here. The one that unfortunately I'm going to have to try, the lighter fluid trick. If I'm correct with that, guys, please let me know in the comments. I believe that's how you get rid of old stickers. This one is the Canadian box, and it's a beautiful box, but unfortunately it's got this huge sticker there. So there you go, you got the Pilot Arcana, kept the same name, even though they've changed him to, even though they've changed his main name when they've changed the language. The box is the same, we've just got the dual language. And again, it's beautiful. I just need to get rid of that sticker, unfortunately. There's the tech spec if you want to have a quick look at that. So this is, of course, exactly the same as the Hasbro version, just obviously all in the English language with this, packaged in a bubble in alternate mode. And again, everything's the same on the back. Now, the one that's different, and again, I love these. I mean, look at the size difference in these. So they're nearly half as thin. They're definitely not as tall. Look at that, £8.25, crazy. And they were packaged in polystyrene. They had the Headmaster's logo on from the cartoon that was running at the same time. The transformation process, is it the same or is it different? It's just reversed by the looks of it. What I mean by that is he's facing I suppose, forwards to his right, and he's facing inwards. And then the detail on the back is exactly the same. You've got the beautiful headmaster's artwork with the two titans on the back, like so. And then you've got the tech spec as well. So there we go, just a really special figure that I wanted to share with you. Hopefully this has helped you with your quest in finding one as well, and indeed, sorry, what to look out for if you're looking to purchase one for yourself. There's just a few telltale things to look out for. What I'm going to do is a completely separate video with all the 4 Autobot headmasters, because they're huge, and then I'm going to do an overall 1987 headmasters, and then of course the Headmaster Juniors as well. But in the meantime, this was 1987 Headmaster Brainstorm. Again, let me know in the comments as well if there's any more showcases of figures or characters or subsections or anything like that that you'd like to see, and I'll get round to doing them for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.